Is this thing on? It is. All right. Welcome back to Layup Lines, the college basketball picks and projections podcast here. I'm your host, DaRock. We're now less than 4 weeks away from Selection Sunday, so these games starting to become even more meaningful. A lot of good conference games during the week here before some big non-conference games during the week or over the weekend coming up. So a lot of get-right games here for these teams before, maybe some even bigger contests this weekend. So I'm going to be going through, giving my picks for these games, as well as, talking a little bracketology here off the top of the show. So if you're a big college basketball fan, make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel. While you're down there, make sure to check out all my other socials. If you're watching here live on Twitch right now, appreciate you. If you're watching later on Spotify or YouTube, like I said, make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and let's get into it. All right, so we'll start here with looking at Fielding the 68, the latest bracket they released here this week. So looking here, the 1 seeds, we got Michigan, Duke, Arizona, UConn. Arizona falls off from being the number 1 overall seed after suffering 2 losses last week. And so Michigan moves up. Duke, the 1 seed in the East, with then UConn now in the South. So it looks like here they have Duke as the 2nd overall 1 seed. 2 seeds, they got Iowa State, Purdue, Illinois, Houston. Within the 3s, Texas Tech, up to a 3 now for that nice win over Arizona. Kansas also a 3 after beating Arizona. Florida after beating Kentucky, up to a 3. Nebraska also at a 3. Looking here at their first 4 in, last 4 out. They have UCLA, Santa Clara, Mizzou, and TCU as their last 4 in, with then San Diego State, New Mexico, Virginia Tech, and Ohio State as their last 4 out. So Missouri here is going to be a team we talk about in a second. Santa Clara lost to Gonzaga over the weekend. That would have been a big win. They probably would have had them in the tournament if they could have picked that up, but sadly they could not. So let's get into here now, kind of talking picks, talking what we got here for those games. So we start here on Tuesday at 6:30 Eastern Time. The 20-5 Villanova Wildcats, 11-3 in the Big East, head to the 13-12 Xavier Musketeers, who are 5-9 in the Big East. So these are 2 teams where Villanova, they're red hot, keep winning, looking like a tournament team at this point. They knock off Creighton at Creighton over the weekend. They've won their last 5 games, so playing really good basketball. Xavier back in the win column, knocking off Marquette after losing their previous 2 to UConn and St. John's. So Villanova, they're led by Tyler Perkins, scoring 13 points per game. Duke Brennan with 10 rebounds, and Lewis with 5 assists. On the Xavier side, Trey Carroll, their leading scorer, with 18. Philip Borkenvinen, leading rebound and assist man, with 8 rebounds, 4 assists. So Villanova, they're 45th in offensive efficiency. Defensive efficiency, they're 30th to Xavier's 84th offense and 99th defense. Xavier shoots 46% from the field, 37% from 3, which is 26th best in the country, to Villanova's 47% from the field and 36% from 3. Xavier, a lot quicker team in this one. They're 22nd in pace to Villanova's 324th. So Xavier, if they're going to win this game, they're definitely, like I said, they're a 3-point shooting team. They like to play fast. We'll see if they can do that. If Trey Carroll can have a big game, like you see there, he's the leading scorer with 18. He almost kind of willed them to that win against St. John's here last week. But Villanova, like I said, they've been playing really good basketball right now. They're projected to win this one by 6, despite it being at Xavier. And that's the thing. They've been able to go on the road, been able to win at home. Bit of a far trip here now, going all the way from Omaha to Cincinnati, but I don't really think it should matter. I like the Wildcats to get the win here in this one. So let me move to the Big Ten, and this is probably one of the best games of the week, other than this Houston-Iowa State game that I just got done watching here on Twitch. Number 1, Michigan Wolverines, 24-1 on the year, 14-1 in the Big Ten. Head to the 7th-ranked Purdue Boilermakers, 21-4 on the year, 11-3 in the Big Ten. So Michigan, they're led by Yaxel Lendenberg, scoring 14 points per game with 7 rebounds. And then Elliot Cadeau, their leading assist man, with 5 assists. Braden Smith, the leader for Purdue, with 14 points and nearly 9 assists. And then Trey Kaufman-Renn, their leading rebounder, with 9 rebounds. So both these teams coming off wins. 5 straight for Michigan. They knocked off UCLA 86-56 during the week. Absolutely handled the Bruins in that one. And then Purdue, big win as well against Iowa, 78-57, as well as they beat Nebraska in overtime during the week. So I on Carter Cast last week said I wouldn't have been surprised if Purdue went 0-2 this past week. They ended up going 2-0. So looking here at the analytics, Michigan, second best offense efficiency, third best defense to Purdue's third offense and 20th defense. Purdue shoots 52% from the floor, which is fourth best in the country, and 39% from three, which is 14th best in the country. To Michigan, 52, nearly 53% from the floor, which is the number one team in the country shooting-wise, and then 37% from three. This is another one, a lot of difference in pace here, where Michigan, they're 20th in the country in pace to Purdue's 294th. They're projected to win this one by 4 points. I think this is going to be a good game. It's kind of a battle of contrasting styles. A little bit like I said, Michigan likes to play fast. Their bigs are, their go-to guys with the Axel, as well as, Morez Johnson, Adi Mara. Where Purdue, I feel like for them, it's more the guards with Braden Smith, Fletcher Lawyer at times, are kind of where they have the advantage. Granted, Elliot Kiddo has been playing some pretty good ball here as of late. And, Oscar Clough and Daniel Jacobson did play better for Purdue this past week, but I just don't think they're enough to handle, Yaxel, as well as, those other bigs for Michigan that I just mentioned. I think they're just going to really be able to have their own inside. I don't really think Purdue's going to be able to stop them. So really what it's going to take for Purdue is like an insane three-point shooting game, which I don't know, maybe we'll get, especially with it being at Mackey, but I don't know. I'm just really high on this Michigan team. I've fully come around on them now, and I think they get the win here on the road. Then sticking in the Big Ten, more of a bubble game, we have the Wisconsin Badgers, 24th ranked team here in the country, 18-7 on the year, 10-4 in the Big Ten. Head to the Ohio State Buckeyes, who are 16-9, 8-6 in the Big Ten. So Wisconsin are led by Nick Boyd, scoring 20 points per game with 3 assists, and then Nolan Winter, leading runner with 9. The Ohio State side, Bruce Thornton, leading scorer and assist man with 19 points, 3 assists, and then Devin Royal, the leading rebounder, with 5. So these are two teams opposite directions here. Wisconsin, 2 straight wins, big games last week, winning at Illinois in overtime, and then just blowing out Michigan State at home over the weekend, 92-71. Ohio State, on the other hand, while they did beat USC during the week, they lost a neutral site game against Virginia, 70-66 here over the weekend in Nashville. And that was one that if the Buckeyes were going to have, get in the tournament, I feel like that was probably a game they need to win. So looking here at the metrics, Wisconsin 9th in offense efficiency, 39th defense to Ohio State's 17th offense and 62nd defense. Ohio State shoots 50% from the floor, which is 18th best in the country, and 35% from three. They also shoot 48% in the mid-range, which is second best in the country. Wisconsin, 47% from the floor, 36% from three. Both those ranks are 61st best. And they also shoot 44% from the mid-range, which is 28th best. So both those teams, pretty good mid-range teams. Wisconsin, slightly faster team here, 113th in pace to Ohio State's 233rd. So the Buckeyes definitely like to play a lot slower than Wisconsin. And that's where, I don't know, I think this could be interesting with Wisconsin with Nick Boyd, as well as John Blackwell. Those two guards have been playing really well here for the Badgers as of late. If they can kind of push the pace, get to their spots, hit their shots, I think Wisconsin should be successful in this one. Actually, the projections do have Ohio State winning this game by 1 point, but I'm going to go against it. I just haven't seen enough from this Buckeye team. I mean, Saturday was the same thing. They always seem like they're right there. They're in the mix, but they never just have what it takes to get over the hump and usually end up losing these games close. Like I said, I think it'll be a close game, but they just usually never seem to pull it out. So for that reason, I am going to go with the Buckeyes to get the win here. The Badgers to get the win here. Like my guy Juicebox in the chat is saying, go Badgers. I think Badgers get the win. And then one final Big Ten game we're going to talk about here on Tuesday. The 9th-ranked Nebraska Cornhuskers, 22-3 on the year, 11-3 in the Big Ten. Head to the 18-7 Iowa Hawkeyes, who are 8-6 in the Big Ten. This one's at 9 Eastern Time on the Big Ten Network. So Nebraska, they're led by Price Sanford, scoring 17 points per game. Renick Master leading rebounder with 6, and then Sam Hoiberg leading assist man with 4. The Iowa side, Bennett Sturtz leading scorer and assist man with 20 points, 4 assists, and then Tavion Banks leading rebounder with 4. So Nebraska, after losing that game to Purdue, like I mentioned during the week, they bounced back, a nice 20-point win at home against Northwestern. It was close at times in the first half, but Cornhuskers end up really pulling away with that one. Iowa lost 2 straight here, like I just mentioned, got blown out by Purdue, as well as lost at Maryland, who is really bad during the week. So definitely trending the wrong direction for the Hawkeyes. Looking at the metrics, Nebraska's 34th in offense efficiency, 7th defense to Iowa's 21st offense and 33rd defense. The Hawkeyes are 13th in the country in shooting 50% from the floor, and 42nd from 3, shooting 37%. To Nebraska's 49% from the field, which is 28th best in the country, and 38% from 3. which is 20th best. Looking at the pace here, neither of these teams are particularly fast. Nebraska 201st, but Iowa plays really slow, 350th, and that's why you're seeing, they're only scoring like 57 points last game. The projections actually do have Iowa winning this one by 1 point, which, when it's a rivalry game like this, especially at Carver Hawkeye Arena, it's a tough place to play. It's a tough place to win, but I don't know, like I said, especially just how slow Iowa plays when they get down in games, and especially just with Nebraska's ability. You saw in the Purdue game to really just kind of turn things on with guys like Sanford and Hoiberg can really just kind of get going in a second there. And Iowa's strength really is their guards with Sturtz. I just don't know, if Renick Mass now, if he can play up to full strength. He does really seem to be, getting healthy here for the Cornhuskers. I just don't really know if they have anyone to stop him inside. So for that reason, I also like Nebraska to get the win here on the road, similar to Wisconsin. Then moving on to the ACC, we go to North Carolina. The 16th ranked Tar Heels are 20-5 on the year, 8-4 in the ACC. Head to the NC State Wolfpack, 18-8, 9-4 in the ACC. This one's at 7 Eastern time on ESPN. So North Carolina, their leader Caleb Wilson, who's averaging 19 points per game and 9 rebounds, is going to be out for, I think it's 3 to 4 weeks here, or maybe it's just indefinitely, with a broken hand. So they're going to have to find some more guys to kind of step up and go to in this one. Kean Evans, their leading rebounder, or a leading assist man with 3, but maybe you have a guy like Henry Vasar really step up for them. On the NC State side, Darion Williams, their leading scorer with 14 points. Van Allen Lubin, leading rebounder with 7, and Quadir Copeland, leading assist man with nearly 7 rebounds. So North Carolina, despite not having Caleb Williams or Henry Vasar in this game over the weekend, took down Pitt 79-65 after their loss against Miami in the previous one. NC State, 2 losses last week, losing at Louisville last big Monday, getting blown out, and then falling late at home to Miami 77-76, where Miami got a foul call late that ended up, they hit 3 free throws, ended up winning the game. So looking at the metrics, North Carolina is 18th in offensive efficiency, 24th defense to NC State's 30th offense and 47th defense. NC State shoots 49% from the floor and 39% from 3, which is 7th best in the country, to North Carolina's 50% from the floor, which is 16th best in the country, and 37% from 3. Both these teams like to play on the quicker side, as NC State's 77th in pace, Carolina's 124th. So the projections have this being a close one, which because no Caleb Wilson, I could see. It does have North Carolina getting a 1-point win. And I don't know, I would like to take the Wolfpack to get an upset here, just with North Carolina being undermanned. I think Vasar should be good to go in this one, and I think Darion Williams could have a pretty big game here, but I don't know, just the way that they lose at home to Miami, Grand Miami also beat North Carolina, and just getting blown out. North Carolina State is really not playing good basketball right now, especially after it kind of looked like they were turning the corner. I would say now they've kind of gone the other way in this past week here. So for that reason, I'm going to go with North Carolina. So now moving on in the ACC, we head to the Louisville Cardinals, 21st ranked team in the country, 19-6 on the year, 8-4 in the ACC. Head to the SMU Mustangs, who are 17-8 on the year, 6-6 in the SEC. This one's at 7 Eastern on ESPN2 on Tuesday. So for Louisville, Ryan Conwell, their leader, with 18 points. Salik Frew, the leading runner, with 6. And then Conwell also leading assist man with nearly 3 assists. The SMU side, Boopie Miller, 19 points and nearly 7 assists. And then Yigitolu, leading rebounder, with 8. So these two teams coming off opposite results. SMU lost at Syracuse over the weekend. Syracuse, not a very good team at all after their 2 previous wins. But before then, one of those losses also at Louisville, 88-74 back on January 31st. Louisville, they've been streaking red hot, won their last 5. They knock off Baylor 82-71 over the weekend in another one of those kind of non-conference contests that, it's been kind of fun that we're having those this time of year. So looking at the analytics here, Louisville, 11th in offensive efficiency, 15th defense to SMU's 16th offense and 85th defense. The Mustangs shoot 50% from the floor, which is 12th best in the country, and 39% from 3, which is 5th best, to Louisville's 49%, which is 22nd best, and 37% from 3, which is 28th best. Both these teams play quick. Louisville, definitely the quicker team, 26th in pace to 84th from SMU. So looking here, this one's projected to be a Louisville 3-point win, and that's probably around what I'm liking. I think this is going to be a high-scoring game. It's projected to be played in the 80s, so probably 160-plus points scored in this game. I think it should be a really high-scoring game. Seeing, kind of Boopy Miller as well as Conwell, and then Michael Brown had a really big game in that NC State win. So, like, watching those two guys go at it, I think could be a lot of fun. I think they could really, be trading buckets here, have a really high-scoring contest, but I do kind of end up liking Louisville pulling this one out. We already saw the first time they played. They're just kind of the better team of these two teams here, so give me the Cardinals get the win on the road. Then moving on to Wednesday, we're going to feature a mid-major game here. This is a big one here in the A-10 is the Dayton Flyers, 16-9 on the year, 7-5 in the A-10, head to the George Mason Patriots, who are 21-5, 9-4 in the A-10. This one's at 7 Eastern Time on CBS Sports Network. So Javon Bennett, leader for the Flyers, with 15 points and 3 assists, as well as then Jones, their leading rebounder, with 5. And then Kalen Mincy, leading scorer for George Mason with 15 points, as well as then Riley Allensbach, leading rebounder, with 6. Jahari Long, leading assist man, with 3. So these two teams coming off opposite results as well. George Mason's lost 2 straight. So they're now, looking here to get back in the win column after losing at Richmond and at George Washington during especially the George Washington game, losing by 20+. Dayton got a nice win against Davidson on Sunday, 70-59, after losing at VCU last week. So nice for the Flyers to get back there in the win column. So looking at the metrics here, Dayton 174th offensive efficiency, 46 defense to Mason's 107th offense, 128th defense. Dayton, not particularly quick, but definitely quicker than George Mason. They're 115th in pace to George Mason's 349th. And the Flyers are actually projected to get the win here by 1 on the road, which the way that George Mason's been playing lately, I honestly could see. I think this will be a really close one. Dayton is kind of hitting their stride a little bit here in the A-10, but I don't know. They're also due for some stinkers at times, which is why I am going to go with George Mason, the home team here, to get the win. I think, this is a get-right spot for the Patriots returning home. Most of those losses have been on the road. However, lost at home to Duquesne back on February 4th as well. So this is one that George Mason really needs. I mean, any really at-large chance for them, I think, is out the window. But this is, a game where Mason's currently 3rd in the A-10, and if they lost, Dayton and Joe's are right by, as well as Duquesne are right behind them. So to get that double bye in the A-10 tournament, they're going to want to win this game. So give me George Mason to get the win here. Then moving on back to the Power Conference ranks. In the SEC, we have the 20th ranked Arkansas Razorbacks, 19-6 on the year, 9-3 in the SEC. Head to the 25th Alabama Crimson Tide, who are 18-7 and 8-4 in the SEC. So Arkansas led by Darius Acuff with 21 points per game and 6 assists, and then Trayvon Brazile leading rebounder with 7. On the Alabama side, LeBaron Philon, 21 points and 5 assists, and then Amari Allen, their leading rebounder, with 7. So both these teams won 3 straight. Alabama won 4 straight. Arkansas got a big win over Auburn over the weekend, 88-75, and then Alabama, nice win over South Carolina, 89-75. So both these teams playing some good basketball, getting a lot of wins here lately. So looking at the metrics, Arkansas is 4th in offensive efficiency, 31st in defense to Alabama's 5th offense and 37th defense. Alabama shoots 48% from the field and 37% from 3 to Arkansas's 52% from the field, which is second best in the country, and 38% from 3. Both these teams play very quick. Arkansas is 39th in pace. Alabama's in 2nd. This one's projected to be in the high 80s, with Alabama winning 89-87. So we're looking at a lot of points here. I mean, this is one I'm definitely betting the over. I don't know what the line is. It's a game on Wednesday, so it hasn't come out yet. But like, if it's a game, in the 160, even 170s, I'm probably taking it. I think Acuff and Philon are really just gonna be trading buckets here. I think this is gonna be a classic like guard battle of those two guys going at it. And then it's really just going to be who can kind of step up as that secondary guy. A guy like, Malik Thomas for Arkansas, or like you're seeing there, Amari Allen, Latrell Wrightsell, all sorts of guys for Alabama. So I think it really is going to be a fun battle. I think these are two pretty evenly matched teams. I do think Arkansas is maybe the slightly better team, but with this one being in Tuscaloosa, I like Alabama. I'm going to go with the Crimson Tide to get the win in this one. I think the home court could end up being the difference. So then sticking in the SEC, like I said, this is a potential bubble game here. Is the 19th ranked Vanderbilt Commodores, 21-4 on the year, 8-4 in the SEC. Head to the Missouri Tigers, who are 17-8 on the year, 7-5 in the SEC. So Vanderbilt's led by Tyler Tanner, scoring 18 points and 5 assists, and then Darius McLaughlin leading rebounder with 7. On the Missouri side, Mark Mitchell leads all their categories, 17 points, 5 rebounds, and 3 assists. So these two teams, Vanderbilt here, 1-2 straight, knocking off Texas A&M over the weekend, 82-69. A&M, is falling very quickly here from the top of the SEC, really struggling now, as well as then Missouri, on the other hand, coming off a loss to Texas, 85-68 at home here too, to those Longhorns. However, they also beat A&M in their previous game before that. So looking at the metrics, Vanderbilt is 10th in offensive efficiency, 23rd in defense to Missouri's 58th offense and 81st defense. The Tigers shoot 49% from the field, which is 20th best in the country, and then 35% from three to Vandy's 49% from the field, which is 23rd best in the country, and 36%, nearly 37% from three. Pace-wise, Vanderbilt, lot faster team here, 38th in pace to Missouri's 243rd. Looking at the projections, does have Vandy getting a 6-point win here. So whenever it's these games like this where it's just the difference in pace, that's where it's, it's really just, can Missouri slow this game down? But when you're the not as good team, Vanderbilt's definitely the more talented team with, Tyler Tanner as well as Tyler Nickel, and Duke Miles too. Like, they just really have a three-headed monster there with the guards where they're just going to be very, very tough to slow down, like Missouri's going to try to do here. We'll see. Maybe, Mark Mitchell can put the team on his back, have a big game. Like, this would be a huge win for Missouri. Like I said, they're on the bubble right now. They need some big wins. They've already, got some beating teams like Florida. They beat Kentucky this year. Like, they beat some good teams in the SEC. So if they could win a game like this, it'd be huge. But I just don't see it in this one. I think Vanderbilt, they kind of took their bumps now here in the SEC. I feel like they've really figured things out. They're not that top team in the league like people maybe were thinking, but they're definitely better than Missouri. So I like the Commodores to get the win here. Then moving on to the Big 12, and this one is going to be a fun one. The 23rd BYU Cougars, 19-6 on the year, 7-5 in the Big 12, head to the 4th-ranked Arizona Wildcats, who are 23-2 on the year, 10-2 in the Big 12. BYU is led by A.J. DeBance, scoring 24 points per game, Kebaketa with 7 rebounds, and Rob Wright with 5 assists. On the Arizona side, it's Braden Burry's leading scorer with 15 points, Tobe Awaka leading rebounder 7, and Jaden Bradley leading assist man with 4. So BYU, finally, after that just tough stretch where they lost 4 straight Big 12 games, they get back in the win column last week with wins at Baylor, and then an OT win at home against Colorado. So not maybe the most convincing results there from the Cougars. Plus, Richie Saunders tore his ACL, is going to be out for the season. That's a very big blow there for BYU. On the Arizona side, they were undefeated heading into last week, but they suffered 2 losses. First at Allen Fieldhouse on Big Monday, 82-78 to Kansas. Then in OT, a really close one, but they just fall at home to Texas Tech, 78-75. So looking at the metrics, BYU 8th in offense efficiency, 61st defense to Arizona's 15th offense and 2nd defense. The Wildcats shoot 50% from the floor, which is 11th best in the country, and 35% from 3 to BYU's 49% from the floor and 37% from 3. Both these teams like to play quick. Arizona's slightly quicker, 23rd in pace to BYU's 53rd. The Wildcats project to win this game by 8, with it being at home, I like that. Like I said, BYU really just in these tougher contests in the Big 12, really just kind of haven't risen to the challenge. Like, they've played some teams close, but really haven't been able to get over the hump. And it's also like just kind of the final score ends up being close, but the full game really is not. So for that reason, and Arizona just really the more talented team. Plus, I think this loss of Richie Saunders is going to be really big for the Cougars, really going to hurt them. I think they're still going to be a tournament team, but they're definitely, like, as good as A.J. DeBance is, they're no longer like this contender in the Big 12. Granted, I think even with Saunders, they really weren't. So give me Arizona to get the win here. I could see a really big game in this one, from a Tobe Awaka, or even the guards like Burries and Bradley have been playing well. I could see them having big games. So I think it's going to be some fun battles here. Like I said, I think A.J. DeBance could still have a big game in this one. I just think Arizona is going to be the better team. Then we'll talk about those Kansas Jayhawks. They're the 8th-ranked team now here in the country, 19-6 on the year, 9-3 in the Big 12. Head to the Oklahoma State Cowboys, who are 16-9 and 4-8 in the Big 12. This one's at 9 Eastern time on Peacock. So Kansas, Flory Benunga, their leading rebounder and scorer with 14 points and 9 rebounds. Then Melvin Counts leading assist man with 5. On the Oklahoma State side, Anthony Roy leading scorer 17. Parise Fala leading rebounder 6. And then Clary, their leading assist man with 5 as well. So Oklahoma State has now lost 3 straight games after that BYU win. Granted, had a tough Arizona trip and then losing at home in overtime to TCU, a team that, those are 2 bubble teams where one of them, like, whoever got that win, was going to be feeling good. Whoever lost, really, really hurtful there. Kansas, like I said, nice win over Arizona last big Monday, but then lose by 18 at Iowa State over the weekend. So they're also, coming off a loss here. The Jayhawks are 43rd in offense efficiency, 10th in defense, to Oklahoma State's 61st offense and 82nd defense. The Cowboys shoot 47% from the floor and 36% from three, to Kansas's 49% from the floor, which is 19th best in the country, and 36% from three. Oklahoma State, a lot quicker team here, 11th in pace, to Kansas's 170th. And looking at the projection here, it has Kansas winning 80-73. So this is another one. Can Oklahoma State speed this up, make this into a track meet, really high-scoring game like they did to BYU? I mean, they put 99 points up on BYU. Can they put that much up on Kansas? I don't think so, because they have Flory Badunga, who's just going to be a menace in the paint. Like, you're not just going to be able to score at will on him, plus just the way he's been scoring lately. Darren Peterson did not have a good game against Iowa State, didn't play against Arizona, so it's really just kind of, from him at this point, it's almost like a null and void. Like, if you get a great game from him, that's exciting. Like, you're definitely not losing, but I don't really even think Kansas needs this in this one. I think they're just the better team. Oklahoma State, like I said, they do have, that upset power there at the historic Gallagher-Iba Arena, but I think Kansas can overcome that. Give me the Jayhawks to get the win there. And then the one game I'll feature here on Thursday, another mid-major game. We have the first place USF Bulls, South Florida, 18-8 on the year, 10-3 in the American. They host the Memphis Tigers, who are 12-13 on the year, 7-5 in the American. This one's at 7 Eastern Time on ESPN2. So Memphis, led by Doug McDaniel, scoring 12 points and 4 assists. And then Thedford, their leading rebounder, with 5. On the USF side, Isaiah Nelson, leading scorer, with 16 points and nearly 10 rebounds. And then C.J. Brown, leading assist man, with 5. So Memphis, they've lost 2 straight. They played this was a game before the season that was supposed to kind of help both these teams potentially get in the tournament. They play at Utah State over the weekend. They lose 99-75 after losing at North Texas on last Thursday, 76-69. A lot of Thursday games here for Memphis. I think, the American was hoping they were going to be that team they could really feature, and they are like a brand. But yeah, just really, really tough year here from the Tigers. South Florida, they've won 4 straight. They complete the season sweep against FAU with an 83-81 win in Boca Raton over the weekend after winning at Wichita State during the week. So really good ball here from South Florida as of late. Looking at the metrics, Memphis is 168th in offense efficiency and 54th in defense, to South Florida's 69th in offense and 87th defense. The Bulls shoot 44, nearly 45% from the field and 33% from 3, to Memphis' 45% from the field and 33% from 3. South Florida likes to play really fast here. They're 15th in pace, but Memphis, pretty quick team too. They're 67th. Looking at direction here, it has USF winning this one by 7. And honestly, that's probably about what I'm thinking in this one. Like I said, Memphis, I just really have not been impressed with them this year. Like, this definitely been an underwhelming season for them. It's going to be interesting to see if Penny Hardaway sticks around. And just to a game like this, where both these teams like to play a similar style, play fast, it's really hard unless, like, South Florida just has, like, a horrible shooting night, which, I don't know, both these teams' defenses are better efficiency-wise than their offense. So, I don't know, maybe we'll see that happen, but I just don't see it. Give me South Florida to get the win in this one. All right, so just looking here at the rest of the games on Tuesday, like I said, a lot of good Big Ten games, but then the SEC, we got South Carolina heading to Florida. St. Louis heads to Rhode Island in an A-10 clash. Texas Tech at Arizona State late night could potentially be a fun one. Kentucky hosts Georgia. Miami, who, like I just talked about a little bit, got some big wins. Host Va-Tech, which, that could be fun at times. Minnesota and Oregon, 2 not great Big Ten teams. That one's projected to be close, as well as, George Washington, VCU, could be another, kind of top teams there in the A-10. So it could be a fun clash between those 2 teams. Then moving on to Wednesday, some good Big East games. Butler heads to Georgetown. We got Creighton heading to UConn. I know St. John's heads to Marquette late night. That might be one that I attend in person. We'll see. Clemson goes to Wake Forest. That's projected to be a close one. So that one, interesting here. Clemson got blown out during the week at Duke. We'll see if they can maybe bounce back. Oklahoma, Tennessee, as well as Ole Miss, Texas A&M here in the SEC. Wichita State, one of the better teams in the American, heads to ECU. Bradley, who's playing really well here in the MVC, heads to Valpo. St. Joe's and Bonaventure could be a good A-10 clash. So a lot of good, mid-major games here, especially then late too. We got games like Illinois heading to USC, never an easy task, as well as Boise, Utah State, Gonzaga, San Fran, Colorado, UNLV. I don't think it's on TV, but North Dakota State and South Dakota State rivalry game. Some of the top teams there in the Summit. Murray State at Illinois State should be a fun MVC one as well. That actually gets an ESPN-U slot, so shout out them. And then Thursday, very mid-major heavy. Per usual, FIU heads to Liberty, top team there. The Flames in the CUSA looking to remain undefeated. Other top ones, we got William & Mary heads to Campbell. UNC Asheville at High Point's a fun Big South game, and that's the same thing, an ESPN-U game. We got Tulane and North Texas squaring off here in the American, as well as that Memphis USF game. And then late night, Hawaii hosts Cal Poly. So if you're a real sicko, staying up for that one, as well as then you can see the first place in the Big Sky, Portland State, hosting Idaho here on Thursday. But that's going to wrap it up. I want to thank you guys so much for watching, whether you're watching here live on Twitch, whether you've been here, if you're on Twitch, watching the Iowa State-Houston game with me, or, just kind of tuning in here for the pod. Like I said, I'm going to be doing this every Monday here going forward for the rest of the year. I think this worked really well, watching Big Monday and then just recording the pod live after. Or if you're watching here on Spotify or YouTube the next day. Like I said, appreciate everyone watching. Make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel. Drop your comments for these picks on these games. Like I said, I want to shout some people out every video. I know my guy Draw on Spotify, Shoot DaRock Sr. He actually had some pretty good picks this week. I want to say he called an upset or two, as well as then was spot on with all his main game picks. So got to give him a shout out there. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see y'all next time. Peace.